asked her. She said, hey, like, she thought it was weird. My daughter studies all the time. She would always be in her room. She would study. Every time she had a guy friend she'd play basketball with or play, like, her little play football outside with her friends. Every time, like, a little boy would be interested or something, then all of a sudden it becomes her best friend. She doesn't like them. She's studying. One of my best friends, she would go spend the night at their house. My best friend and her daughter was best friends. They would have little boys come over there. Her mom said, your daughter will come in here and help me clean up, or she'll come and sit in the living room and read a book when the boys come around. So, come to find out years later, we didn't find out until she was like almost 17.
Oh my God.
She's non-binary.
She's non-binary at 17.
She didn't tell anybody.
She didn't tell nobody.
It was her teacher she told. Her teacher ain't tell her shit, which I'm glad that she has somebody that she can confide in. She didn't tell nobody. We found out later. So it's not about bad parenting. I think sometimes, and she even said she just didn't want us to feel some type of way, because we're always talking about, my mom asked her specifically when she was like 15 years old, why don't you have a boyfriend? If you like girls, it's okay. If you like boys, it's okay. My mom told her that. My mom had a conversation with her, and she said, I'm just worried about school. I don't want to talk about no boys or no girls. That's it. And everybody thought she was the perfect kid. Come to find out, she does like boys, she does like girls. She just did not know how to express herself if she was to like a boy or girl. Or bring that home to us, to tell us that she's not that binary. So, it's not bad parenting. Sometimes it's just that child does not, and she told us she just didn't want to disappoint us, because we're always talking about when you have grandkids. When grandma have great grandkids, she did not want to disappoint somebody. She ended up being with a woman.
No, I let you back on stage. I love you first. And I love you more, babe. Okay? Alright, so Gemini, you wanted to say something? Ash, are you still there, Ash? You still holding on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'll go after the other gentleman that you said you want to respond to.
And I'm after Gemini.
So yeah, you're after Gemini, but let me just go to Ash. She's new to the stage. Ash, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
So this is an interesting conversation. Patty, I just want to address what you said. As a teacher for almost 20 years, I can't believe I'm saying that. Sometimes kids aren't sure, or they don't have the right words, and it's not, you're right, it's not because of bad parenting. They're still just trying to figure it out themselves so that they can be comfortable talking about it with other people. And you're right. Thank goodness she had a teacher to talk about it to, because we've heard stories when kids don't have anybody to talk about it to, and they know their parents are dead set against it. To the individual who, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with everybody on stage, and I want to make this quick, who said they don't want their child learning that it's okay to be gay, or it's okay to be whatever you want, a doctor, a cop, a dancer, whatever. Remember that classrooms aren't filled with products. Each kid is unique in themselves, and for a teacher to make their classroom so uncomfortable and so unwanting for another child just because you might not be comfortable with it, well, good thing you're not in their class, because if you have no idea what it's like to see a child's face when they feel uncomfortable, or they don't feel loved, or they're sad, or whatever, and you don't know perhaps what it's like to have a child come cry to you because they are scared of their parents, whether it's because they don't want to tell them that they're gay, or they're not sure what they are, or that they failed a reading test. See, the funny thing about my job is every parent I hear is so concerned about the gender of their child, or the sexuality of the people in the room, or of the other parents of the kids. But when I call about the reading scores, or their math, or I'm calling because your kid's having trouble blending letters, I can't even get you to pick up the phone, let alone help your child at home. So I think really what we're doing is we're looking at these Republicans waving this red flag of, those 15 transgender things, and we're letting it trickle down into schools, because in my 20 years of teaching, I've maybe had a handful of kids, nearly 20 years. I'm not going to age myself. I'm not there yet. But we need to be more concerned when a teacher calls and said, hey, they're struggling in reading, or hey, they're struggling in math. And as educators, we are a safe space, and we want everybody to feel included, and we do leave it to the counselor's guidance. And I don't think there are bad parents, but I think if you're here and you're talking about it, you're most likely not a bad parent, and you do care. I just think everybody has different parenting styles, so just like every teacher has a different teaching style. So First Lady, thank you for letting me in. I hope everybody has a happy 4th of July. I know what happened today kind of sucks, and it's hard to want to feel patriotic, but yeah, I hope everybody has a great.
Oh, I miss you.
I miss you too. I'm so happy to be in the room as your moderator.
Absolutely. No, seriously.
First Lady, put me in your queues.
Absolutely. We need to hear your voice more often. Thank you for sharing and shedding the light as you did. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you for reaffirming what Patty just said, but also just affirming all the parents here. We really appreciate it. And I, like always, I appreciate the service and you working with our future, really, to be honest with you. I love you, girl.
Thank you.
Gemini, are you there? Okay. 1, 2. Going once. Gemini?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to Catalyst. Catalyst, are you there?
Yes. Appreciate what the teacher just said. Very informative. I actually taught 2 years, but it was college, not preschool. Lisa, what you said about your child and loving on your child and knowing who they are, radically important. April, what you said about being a mom and being a military mom who runs the household, that's radically accurate. I'm ex-military. My sister is married to a military man, Navy, actually retired, so she ran the household. And when the children got out of order, if she disciplined when the husband got back and he wasn't deployed, he disciplined. I'm a parent. I believe in certain values, how we run our house, how we ran, well, he's grown now, how we ran our household, and the beliefs that we believed, how our faith beliefs and how we move, and that wasn't so prevalent then. Now, being a grandparent, and I don't hear I know what's going on in California in public schools. Fortunately, our children are in private schools, but still, I think there's a decoupling of society when aberrant lifestyles are taught as a norm.
Yeah, I think you kind of miss hey. So.
Is it? I thought. But go ahead.
Was he done?
Yeah,
He was. I think that's right. Deborah wanted to speak.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Roy.
Jamel is supposed to speak. He was in there.
It's fine. I was gonna build off of what school was saying, like, but we're kind of moving on from it. So
It's fine. Just say what your heart desires, babe.
Well, I was trying to build off of what school was saying because he did have a lot of great points. Although I didn't agree with all of it, I believe that the only thing that made the message a little hard to receive was just the fact that, when you start off trying to portray your views to others, you can't throw other people's views down or offend them before trying to make yours clear, because then it just won't be obtained. But I do agree with I'm kind of building off what Ash said. Ash kind of also solidified what I was thinking, in the point of, I get what school was saying, in the point of, you're not necessarily a bad parent because your kids don't feel comfortable to come and talk to you. I was very close with my mom growing up, and although I know someone called me out saying, "Oh, Jamal, you don't have kids," whatever, so I don't have a say in the conversation, but I do specifically remember having a great relationship with my mom growing up, but there were certain things I simply just wouldn't tell her. And I mean, I'm even going to ask Gemini the question directly. You said you have children yourself. Do you think if your children were in school and they were hanging out with friends and, maybe the opportunity came up to try marijuana or, indulge in some kind of teenager activity, do you believe that your child would come to you first and talk to you about it first? Or do you think they would try it, or that you would end up finding out on your own?
You want an honest answer?
Yes.
My daughter, yes. My son, no.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. I conclude that.
Gemini.
I think my son would eventually tell me, right, when he felt like, and I don't know how eventually that would be. And I think my daughter would just come and tell me up front because that's just her personality. Like different. That's like there's not a one size fits all for every kid. Kids move differently. They have different personalities. They respond differently, and you have to parent each child differently. It's not like you take this outfit and you put it on every kid, and this is how the shit works. It doesn't work like that.
You're right, but it doesn't make you a bad parent, right? Because one kid will specifically not feel comfortable with bringing that up to you off the start, right? Like you sound like you're a great parent. You know, I would say so myself.
Who said you was a bad parent?
I don't think I'm not calling anybody a bad parent on the stage. For the record, I'm not here to try to down somebody else as a parent. That's not what I'm on. But I do think, like, I'll give you an example with my son. His mother, her approach was very different than mine, right? He doesn't want to clean his room. It's his space. He has to live in that filth. He wants to shut his door all the time. Well, fuck it. Let him shut the fucking door. My whole thing was, you want to shut the door? I'll take that fucking door off the hinges. You won't have a door. We'll just be looking at each other, looking stupid, both of us, right? And I was a lot more hands-on, and she was surprised that she was like, "You're gonna push him away," but he actually responded completely differently to that. Like he actually bonded even tighter with me because he knew what my intentions were, even though I was harsh in my implementation. But I could read him, and I knew how far. I don't know how to articulate this part. I knew how far to go to show him that I was serious, but not trying to harm him. Like he knew that our interests were aligned. That he was just. I don't even know how to articulate that.
Yeah, but it also had to do with you guys being the same sex.
You're probably right.
Yeah, that's why that was the response you got versus the response his mom got.
He responds completely different to both of us. That's a fact.
That is very
Yeah.
true. Yep.
You're right,
How
brother.
do we get into good parent and bad parent?
Hey, look
I wasn't trying to do that. That's
I know that you weren't doing that, but
Nobody
I heard
said
somebody
that.
say that. Yeah, I heard somebody.
I don't know who said it, but somebody mentioned if your child cannot speak to you, then you're not parenting, right?
That was-
Or you're not parenting.
that was
I don't know who said it, but I definitely heard that.
That was April.
So that's where we're getting the good parent versus the bad parent. Yeah, I don't know who said it, but that's why I don't want to say the exact name because I may be wrong.
I can repeat exactly what I said about parenting. You know what I mean? Good and bad, I never used that. I said whatever type of parent you are, but it's a sign of parenting. You guys don't agree it's a sign. If you have something going on with your child that lives under your roof, and this is what I was trying to get them to understand the other day, you are still a child. Anything that has a one in front of it, and maybe not even that. I said one because we were talking about a particular situation. But even with a 2 or 3, 30s or whatever, if they're still my child. It is nowhere in the world. Okay, this nigga's 30. Let me not say nothing about the way his house looks, the way this is going on and that's going on. I didn't come from a family like that. Maybe that could be wrong. Maybe you guys maybe think it's intrusive, to have parents who are always trying to be in your life and trying to figure out if your direction is correct, you're on the right course. Some people think it's nosy. So it might be a cultural thing, because I do have an Italian side of my family. Even though it wasn't a female, it was a male, and he still acted very interested and wanted all the information in the world about what was going on with my life. Not to be nosy, it's where he said for protection, for coverage. So I know what's going on with my daughter. If there's a need for me to step in, then I already got the footprint. I already got what's up. But, I get it if you guys think that we're being intrusive, nosy, old, dodo, whatever. I get it. I just say anything, though, about being a bad parent is parenting styles that are
Yeah, I never said the word bad or good. I said it was a parenting issue.
Let me stand on it. I said it. If your kids cannot talk to you for about most things, now there are going to be things like what Patty described. There's going to be things like there's things I kept from my parents, right? There's going to be certain things they're not going to tell you literally everything, but for the majority of the time, if your kids cannot communicate with you openly, you are a bad parent. I'll stand on that.
That's cool.
So
Say it.
saying as a parenting issue means it's a bad thing.
Okay,
Whether you-
whatever. That's your take on it.
Okay.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
He's not that cut word
I
listening
can't.
to us.
I can't.
I know.
Okay,
Okay.
No, but don't start off with no shit like that. You can finish and try to get a better response.
Look, the second time you explained it, Lisa, I agree. Even when April explained it, I don't disagree. But when the first time you guys spoke, you said it was a
What's that background noise? Is some of you okay?
He's a weed whacker. He's a weed whacker. Oh my God. Let me turn it.
Leave it alone.
Do that grass. Man, there's no more immigrants. You gotta do your grass. Do that grass.
What'd you say?
Do that grass.
Do that grass.
He has a 5-month-old baby. The baby can't do the grass.
Do that grass. Do that grass.
Since school got us
What does it with that?
ass weed whack.
Oh, hey, Corey.
Good evening,
Corey, Corey,
How's your book?
Oh, hold up, Deborah. One mic on Deborah. She has been waiting.
Can I finish real quick?
No, you cannot.
Who is that?
Deborah gonna go. I'm
Who
over.
was that?
Hey, Deborah, this
That's
is
Corey.
School? What's that school?
Yeah,
I
he
was
was trying to
I was
go.
on-
I think he stopped his machine.
Thank you, Deborah. I agree with both. I agree with both of y'all. The second time you guys explained it when you're speaking to lady, 100%. I'm not. This isn't a privacy issue when it comes to like your house, your kids opening up to you. All kids. I'm hoping all kids should be that way. I'm just saying that there are certain things that kids are not going to say to the parents, especially if they know that that's going to lead to disappointment. Even getting C grades in school. You remember when we grew up, you had to take your report card or whatever it was and get it signed, and kids would forge their parents' signature because they didn't want the parents to know that they have a C in the middle of the quarter. So, look, I understand what you guys are saying, and to you, April, honestly, your situation is also a privilege, right? Because you have to understand that most parents, even in a two-parent household, those parents are coming home after working. There's not a parent who's staying.
I didn't
Hold
work?
on. You said you were staying at home.
I didn't say that. I said I was the military.
I swear to God, that's
My
what you
husband
said.
was gone. I was the one at home, and he was gone. That didn't mean I didn't work.
Oh my God! You know what? Whoa. Okay. No one is saying that being a stay-at-home mom isn't working.
No,
I am saying
you're
that.
misunderstanding me. I was the one at home because I was the only person in the country, okay, that was related to the children. My husband deployed. My husband was gone.
Oh, okay. I didn't get
At
that.
home. But here's the thing. I've been a stay-at-home mom, and I've been a working mom, and both are fucking hard to do.
I'm not saying
and
it's.
raise really good kids.
I didn't
So,
say it was hard or easy. What I'm saying is, even with both parents coming back from work, and having to now take care of the kids after a long day at work, they just can't exhibit that same energy as a parent who would be at home with that child the entire time. Because guess what? They're exhausted from dealing with other people and other situations at work, and now they have to come back and try to turn that off. It's very hard for parents
Are
to do
we
that.
talking? Are you serious right now?
I'm being serious.
Are you serious right now?
Yes, that's a serious thing. And y'all need to stop thinking it's not.
It's not.
why
It's not. It's not.
It is.
Wait a minute.
Really not. It's
What's
not.
your claim? What's your claim, school? What's your claim?
Working parents that have to not come home and parent. That's very difficult to do. Whether you guys want to say it's not a serious thing, it is a very serious thing.
It's a
Working parents really want to make a meal. Like, come on, we gotta keep it 100.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay. Hold up.
Take it off for us as parents, and we have to keep it 100 when it comes to parents.
I'm about to keep it 1,000 right now, right?
There's a whole lot of Chef Boyardee and Kraft mac and cheese going on.
Oh, there is, and a whole lot of
And a whole lot of TV dinners.
Hello?
Yeah, a whole lot of McDonald's and a whole lot of
These women don't cook.
Hold up. I gotta say this, right? I've been running my companies on my own forever. Had my kids, so I don't have the luxury of saying, "Well, go to your mom's." That wasn't it, right? They're both with me. I'm the parent. I'm the provider. It's just me, right? And I don't think that's super like, oh my God, it was just so hard. It was just, my back was breaking.
It's always been me.
It's work, right? But it's not to the point where you're making like you can't be there for your kids because you're not. That's bullshit. 1000% bullshit. If you make it a priority, yeah, I had to sacrifice certain things. That's probably why I was single so long, because I was focused on my kids. But saying that you can't make them a priority, or it's so hard to, it's not, man. I enjoyed it.
Not a priority. He was just saying it's hard. That's all.
Okay, got you. Well, I'm gonna leave the mic alone and pass this question. All right, I want to ask this.
No.
Deborah wants to speak.
Okay, I'll ask the question to you, Deborah, because I'm handing the mic to you. So I'll ask you this in closing. Do you think that the kids should be able, like, I understand there's things that we're going to keep from our parents. I think everybody on stage kept something from their parents. Like, if we're being realistic, we did, right? And that doesn't mean we didn't have good parents. But do you think if you can't communicate with your parents about the majority of things, that's a sign of parenting that needs to be improved? Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Deborah.
I do think that you should be able to talk to your parents about most anything. But if we're going to be real, they're not going to tell you everything. All you can do is give them the space to know that they can be comfortable telling you what they're going to tell you. But even sometimes in those cases, they feel things too, right? They're in the house with you. They know, even when you're saying that, while you may listen to it, or you're there for them, sometimes it's just some things that they just can't. They're not going to be comfortable telling you. So what I did in my case with my daughter, what I told her, because I recognized that could be a thing. I used to go to my mother's sister. My mother was the oldest sister. I used to go to the one under her when I wanted to talk about something that I wasn't comfortable with my mom. And so I passed that on to her. If it's something that you think not comfortable saying to me, tell my sister, tell your godmother, tell somebody if you don't want to talk to somebody, if it's not me. And so I think that's also that can be good. But I just wanted to just reiterate what school said, and Lisa and April and you, Gemini. All of you were right, and it is possible that all of that can be right at the same time. I mean, the two things can exist at one time. You can be a good parent and they not tell you everything, because like you guys said, every child is different. You might have that one that just is not ready to let some things loose. And especially in this day and age, they contend with so much more. There's so many things happening. They see so much. And so I'm just glad you guys were able to talk through it. It sounded really well when you guys, even just at the end, school misunderstood what April said. He assumed that she was a housewife, so to speak. I knew she wasn't, because I've heard her tell her story many times. But we have to just learn to listen to each other more and understand each other before we lash out. And I'm speaking to myself when I say that. I'm going to have to work a little bit myself with Trinity. But I'm going to pass the mic.
Hey, Queen T. Wait a minute. Who's it? Who just said it?
Corey.
Hey, Corey. One second, Corey, because I definitely want to hear from you.
And I'd love to jump in after.
Lisa said she wanted to speak after Deborah. But, yes, I just want to say to school, this is a really, really, really great conversation. I hope you are able to see how sometimes, like, when people say something and when we assume things, it makes us respond in such a way about something that the person didn't actually say. But when we're able to actually communicate and we say, well, no, that's not what I meant. I was saying this. And the person can be like, oh, okay. But most importantly, school, what I want to say to you is the generalization that we have in these conversations is, I think it's it's a bad idea. Because some of what you're saying is true, but also there's another side to that story. And being able to find the balance between the two is the idea here. There's no perfect parent out there. None. Okay. And I think a lot of times we, go off of how we were parented. Perhaps maybe you feel so strongly the way you feel is because in your household, you wasn't telling your parents what you were doing because you had such a strict household to the point that you knew you was going to get your ass whooped. You knew that there was going to be some type of punishment. So in your mind, this is how you cultivated. But I challenge you to do something different, in your child's life, but still have the guardrails and the guidelines that you need to be able, whereas they just won't be buck wild. You know what I mean? So I wanted to put that in there. Lisa, you want to speak or you want Corey to speak?
Go ahead, Corey. Good to see you. I can mute my mic.
It's good to be seen and not viewed, my grandmother would say.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Now, I came in here late. I get that the general topic is parenting. And I plan to throw a bomb. Some of you motherfuckers don't deserve for your kids to tell you everything. And I might advise some people's kids not to tell their parents everything. Just because you stuck your dick in, or you had some dick stuck in, or IVF, whatever the case, does not mean you are equipped with communication skills, with the ability to separate your emotions from this living person's own life, and a whole host of things. And often we act like, because I'm a parent, I got the blueprint. And that shit is delusional. And we see it on here all the time. I pray for some of the children of some of the people that appear on these stages. Because the lack of listening, the lack of empathy, the lack of comprehension that we experience as adults with each other, y'all are living in the house with little human beings growing up that are going to either emulate the behavior that you have or are going to spend the rest of their lives trying to get away from and shake that shit. Okay, I'm done.
That's a fucking fact, Corey. Goddamn.
My. Before I go to Malak, let me just see, Lisa, did you want to get back in?
Shout out to the queer kids who tell their guidance counselor that they're queer because they can't tell their parents at home.
All right. One mic on Malak.
Thanks. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, I definitely agree that's the case for some. I mean, I think that's why it's important. I know people talk about parental rights, but when schools have these policies around not outing students to their parents, like sometimes there's really good reasons for that.
Okay.
But I kind of wanted to touch on the other side of the fear. Like, you can definitely be afraid of your parents, but I think a lot of kids can also be afraid for their parents because, kids are a lot more perceptive than we give them credit for. And I think when parents are going through a lot of stress, divorce, job loss, sickness, mental health, all sorts of things, it's this feeling of like, I don't want to add more to their plate, or I don't want to cause more stress, or I don't want to cause more problems, so I'll just handle it myself. So I really like what Deborah was saying about giving them options of other people they can talk to, because I feel like sometimes it's like how individuals can get in survival mode, like families can get in survival mode.
100%. I'd like to add, if I could, because you guys have some really, really great points. I think a lot of you guys have said some really great things. Something that I also teach my kids is how to know who you can be vulnerable in front of. And sometimes, adults, they put this mask on, obviously, at times to make it seem like they can be trusting, right? And even outside of those that we encourage our kids to go to if they feel like, they can't come to us, maybe it's just a little bit too embarrassing, whatever the case might be. Maybe they may be in an environment where they don't have those particular people around. And so understanding how to have an intellectual understanding of their own emotions, and who to allow themselves to be open in front of, who to share certain type of secrets with, who to allow themselves, whether it be to just be vulnerable and emotional, or just, out of just fear and telling the truth. My kids, I am blessed and grateful. I grew up with a man, my mom didn't raise me. So having my daughter being my first kid, it brought a lot more of my soft side out of me, because growing up with a man is just different. And so my daughter being very sensitive and being very feminine, I had to learn, those type of things, right? I had to learn how to be a different kind of mother who would be able to cater to my child like that. But I'm very blessed and grateful, just like it sounds like many of you guys on stage who have a great relationship with your children, who you have open communicative relationships with your children, and they feel comfortable being able to go to you. My daughter, she's getting ready to go off to college, so that's kind of one of my things that I'm fearful, but I'm also obviously excited, right? But just making sure that everything that I've equipped her with, that she continues to hold on to that even when she's out of state and away from me, and in a whole nother environment.
I'm not just trying to, Miz and all you guys, and Gemini, First Lady, everybody on the stage, parents. I am not too keen on I don't mind having a person that my kid can talk to, and Miss Debbie, because I talk to Miss Debbie a lot. I talk to Miss Debbie more than I talk to my parents, which is weird because I'm a total different look out on that. But eventually I'm gonna sit them down and tell them everything that they need to know. But my thing is this: there was a situation. The reason I don't agree with that, I'm sorry for the noise, I'm outside. I had a situation with Ryan. He went to a party and he didn't go with his brother. They usually are together, so I know they can bounce off of each other with their morality and their foundations and whatever. Come to find out, now I trust the party that he went to. Of course, I knew the people who owned the home. I knew who the party was for. I knew more than most people would even want to find out when their kids say I'm going to a party. I usually, do some research and shit. I know the area, whatever. The police respond time to that area. So he was at this party, and not being a drinker, being an athlete, but everybody said he should know what alcohol tastes like. Now that was kind of fucked up when I get that response, because he was drinking some type of punch mixture that they had, and I don't know what alcohol was in it. I'm not a drinker, but when I do drink, I like to drink drinks that mask the alcohol, because I'm really not a drinker like that. But back to the story, he was drinking, using that as his source of refreshment, and come to find out, he blacked out. Now, this story was held from me, the mom, forever. I didn't know it happened. I didn't know. I was just told that he wanted to stay the night. That was a lie. Then everything was cool, this, that, and the third. Now, the reason I found out about it is because we were at another event, all together as a family, and that particular mom had a refreshment bowl, but she labeled it with alcohol. She had the one separated for adults and the kids, and all the stuff that was labeled with alcohol, free punch drinks or whatever the case may be, that was all labeled. And it was funny because they didn't think I was within earshot, but that person said, "Oh, make sure Ryan don't get to this bowl because you know what happened last time." And that's how that conversation got started. I said, "Last time what happened to what?" Now, the reason I'm saying it's not fair for the third party so much for everything, he could have went into alcohol poisoning. He could have had a reaction. He could have aspirated. He could have did a whole bunch of shit. That didn't happen. Woulda, coulda, woulda. But it would have been nice as the mom, especially because I'm in healthcare and really sensitive with that. They could have made a phone call to me and just told me the truth. Like, Ryan's going to stay overnight because he was drinking out of the punch bowl with the alcohol in it, and now he's a little bit not in a position for us to bring him home. But if you want to come get him, that might be a plan. So some of third-party stuff I don't really like, because it could be something that could affect their health or decision-making as a parent, that you're leaving me out of the loop to have that right as a parent to be able to make a decision for my own child. So, yeah, I'm very, very wary of the third party. I'm sorry it was long-winded.
No, Lisa, I think you actually make some good points, and that's why I say what we expose our kids to ourselves sometimes can determine how they handle and perceive things in the world. You know, I grew up with somebody who sold drugs all my life, so thankfully, you know, growing up and being in different environments, I could tell, and you know, I'm not gonna do no drugs. But these are things that sometimes a lot of parents don't share or don't have certain type of conversations with their kids, you know, to either feel comfortable enough in knowing the difference so that they can share and open up. Shoot, my son, I don't even take my kids to McDonald's. So if he go to his friend's house and they go to McDonald's, the parents is calling me. Your son said he can't go to McDonald's. Is there something else? Like, because he knows exactly what the understanding is, and he carries that understanding with him, just like my daughter does everywhere they go. And so I'm not saying that some things cannot accidentally happen. You know, obviously maybe he didn't. You know, obviously didn't know that was a thing. But like you said, you're right. You know, those parents should have had more respect for you to share. And that's another thing. You know, when it comes to the type of parents and the type of families and stuff that our kids hang with. I mean, we can only control it to a certain extent for the vast majority of part. I control it as much as I possibly can. You know, my kids can't kick it with certain people. They can't hang with at certain households. You know, I have friends who let their kids go to households where their parents smoke with their kids, drink with their kids, and some more stuff. That's not households that my kids can go to. I'm not okay with that. Some parents are okay with that. And so you as we know, we are the company we keep, and so the more we teach our kids at a younger, as young as possible, to the point of understanding. You know, we know where our kids are able to understand and what they're not. You know, they'll be able to be more insightful, maybe not as adventurous. You know, I'm not saying your son was adventurous at all, but you know, that first taste, you know, he may automatically know, you know what, this just doesn't taste right. I know for a fact that this is often. That's not saying you got to expose him to alcohol at home, but having certain kind of conversations or things like that, you know, play a role. I know some people, we grew up, you know, my grandparents and my dad, you know, used to let us taste stuff. And again, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but I feel like a lot of things that my dad personally exposed me to helped cater to me and tailor certain things that I was open to trying out when I got older, open to doing when I got, you know, in college. I mean, college is always a fun part of your life too. So, but I also, you know, you don't also want to make them feel like third parties aren't, you know, anything that they can't trust. Because what if you're not around? You know, what if somebody else that you feel that you can trust is not around? Then who can they turn to? So just an understanding as far as just how we are vulnerable in front of people, the things that we allow ourselves to be exposed to, and what we choose to share also plays an important.
Well, if they were at a party at Lisa, at your friend's house, and the adults were home, and your kids were underage, I'm not sure why there was accessible alcohol in the first place. If
It was not, they were not my friends. It was their friends. But I know the parents by introducing myself. You know what I mean? I went over there and I introduced myself at another event that they were having, Debbie, that was okay. But what I'm understanding after I got the story, the second hand, third hand, fourth hand, it was not even put that particular punch was made by a child, and
the parent was not aware.
Exactly, the alcohol was.
These kids are sneaking doing these.
Fucking livid. When she found out, I found out like 3 months later when I called and I was like, let me tell you one motherfucking thing, and she was like, what? So we got into it, and so everybody got into a big deal, 4-way call. Everybody's called. She goes, let me tell you, this is how it went down. Then she got the kid on the phone, and she said, you better not motherfucking lie. So it's like, so when you guys wanted that, she said, I should have known that young niggas don't be drinking no punch, like, you know, if they're made in a bowl anymore, or no Kool-Aid and shit like that. She said, that's my bad. I should have known not to trust y'all. But you know, it wasn't our kid. It was a third, fourth kid who brought the alcohol and put it into the drink. See, this is scary shit now. So now children are no longer to drink anything, like when they go to a party, like I tell my daughter, don't put your purse down, don't put your drink down. Somebody can tag you, put an air tag on you. Just so much shit I told her to be careful about. Now, here's a new one. No open cup drinks. Like, you know how somebody's like open cupping you?
Mm-hmm.
But just from a can or some shit.
When I was saying, that's a different situation than when I was saying about your kid needing to talk to someone. It wouldn't have, it would be a more trusted adult. Not that those parents are not trusted, but it would be maybe a family member or one of your close friends, not one of their friends.
I got you.
One of your friends.
I got you.
That that they could go to, somebody that you know how they are. That's what I was saying when I talked about another person, somebody close to you.
I got you. Like my aunties and stuff. I would trust them to go talk to them.
It's always a cool auntie, but you can be a cool auntie and be responsible, right? Responsible. So that's all I was saying.
My aunties found out how tight my bond was. I had sent my daughter back to hang out with family in Ohio, because I couldn't make the family reunion due to work, right? I had to take care of some business out in Cali, so I sent her back. And she called me. She was like, Auntie pulled me to the side and was like, your dad wants the best for you, but sometimes you gotta look out for yourself. She told him, look, they don't understand. You're not gonna be able to pull her to the side. Y'all don't that bond is so strong for so many years. That's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 years. That's years, right? So I have mixed feelings about trusting other people to parent my child or be their trusted source. That's supposed to be me. Anything else is a backup. You gotta have a backup because you don't know about yourself. But I want them to come to me first if possible. Now, there might be with my daughter because she is a female, and my mom plays substitute for her mom, right? So there's certain female things that she might not be as comfortable discussing with me, although she tried. I wasn't really comfortable, nor did I have the knowledge to even inform her what she needed to know. I'm not a woman. There are certain things that I get, but for the most part, I want them to come to me first.
I think Royal was trying to speak. Royal, you can go if you want to. Yeah, I know. So, you know how that is.
He's not scared. Go ahead, Royal. Don't be scared.
Nah, he keeps trying to jump in and y'all keep talking.
Oh, did I cut him off? I just cut him off right now, man.
Don't share your size on here, Wellesley. Oh, I'm an 8. I'm sorry if that makes me fat.
What is that?
At 32%, I was still size 2, Bella. Size 2.
No. I think I'm at 28 right now.
No, but you're bigger than me. You're probably taller
I'm
than me.
5'5".
You're taller than me.
I have no problem with a size 8 female. I think a size 8 female is.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be at 35%.
Bella, hold on real quick. I don't. Okay, so here was my tax brackets. If for a woman, if you're 31% or less, if you're 32% body fat or more, you're hold on. Why would you interrupt?
No, because of BMI, every country is different.
No, we're not talking about BMI, and don't ever interrupt me. What the hell are you thinking? This is my proposal, and this is for women. If women are 32% body fat or more, I want to have a tax bracket that's the maximum tax bracket, which would tax you at 40%. Now, if a woman was able to get, hold on. If a woman was able to get that percentage and maintain a percentage that is that is between, hey, who the fuck is interrupting me? Hold on. Okay, it's the same fucking retard. Now I'm removing you and I'm blocking you. Your bad behavior will never get rewarded. What the fuck are you thinking? And whoever brought that fucking cunt up, fuck you.
I was gonna say, why would anybody bring somebody back to the stage when Mojo literally just sent the person down?
Because they're fucking retarded. We're gonna have to go into IQ next for our tax rate. But here's the thing: if a woman, this was where I would be with my tax brackets. 24% and less percentage of body fat, I would make them 100% tax exempt. 25 to 31% body fat, I would tax them at 20%. And for those that are 32% and higher, I would tax them at 40%. Sarah, you would have a 20% tax rate. But if you were to get down, if you were just to lose 3%, get down to 24%,
I'll get a breast rate. I'll get my boobs out, and they'll be at 22%. That would make you happy.
Yeah, this is like promoting really bad things.
And she's 108 pounds. What did she have to lose? Like, are you like?
Yeah, like he's crazy.
Wait, hold on. 108 pounds? What?
She's 108 pounds at 27% body fat, and you're telling her that she needs to lose more weight in order to get into your zero tax bracket.
I can lower my body fat by gaining more muscle, meaning I need to add 10 pounds to my body weight. I just don't want to be bigger. That's the thing.
Well, I will say